Hola, mis amigos y amigas. What's going on, everybody? Clayton J. Jensen here, and today's vlog is, oh my gosh, I've been waiting all day for this, live! Woo! Yeah, it is. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having an amazing day. If you haven't already, swing on over, check out yesterday's vlog where we discussed engage your following, engage your success. How it takes time to engage efficiently, but what takes even more time is never succeeding. Let's ensure that we're putting in the work now, that we're taking the time to engage efficiently, not only with our customers, but also with our coworkers, with our employees. Let's make sure we're branding social good, and when we engage efficiently, we don't waste our time. We're actually heading towards success every step of the way. Thought that'd be a great time. Today's topic we'll be discussing, know your self-worth. We are all so valuable. And the greatest resource that we have in this entire world is human capital, us. Let's make sure we're taking full advantage of that. So to start off, what is human capital? Well, Investopedia, which I recommend checking it out. They've got so many great economic investing terms, investopedia.com. They define human capital as a measure of the economic value of an employee's skill set. So, okay, if we look at in economic terms, we see that, you know, an individual is just as beneficial as what they can bring to the table, the economic value that they can provide, you know, to a company, to themselves, to their family. But that seems a little simplistic. It seems a little like we're missing the human side of it. The term human capital actually was coined by the famous economist Theodore Schultz. He believed that the human capital is like any other type of capital. He said we could invest in it just like anything else through education and training. So, okay, that gives us a little bit more. We're technically investing in ourselves when we educate ourselves, when we train ourselves in a specific topic, and we may gain that expertise, that knowledge by going to a specific institution or by working for a specific company. But even still, it seems like we're missing out on, you know, what the largest resource that we have, because I don't think it's us just economically. The truth, then, is that human capital cannot be defined in economic terms. What we're able to accomplish is 100% dependent on how we see our self-worth. How do we view ourselves each and every day? Because if we see ourselves as individuals who probably can't get a lot done, then we're not going to get a lot done. And not just for ourselves. Let's not forget that life is not just about us. It's not just about what we gain from it. It's about what do we provide to other individuals. And if we don't see ourselves as having a strong self-worth, then we don't believe that we can actually make a big impact. Then we don't put in the work. We don't put in the time. We maybe get a job to pay the bills, but to just get by, to never actually be living that life that we want, to be living a life where we now have the resources, both time and monetary, to help out other individuals, to help out those individuals who may not have access to the same resources that we do in this country. I want to tell you a story of someone who really didn't know his self-worth. You know, we're constantly searching for what our worth is, what we're good at in life. And sometimes it can be tough to see that. But if we don't know our self-worth, if we don't know what we're able to do, then we never accomplish those important things in life. So this gentleman that I'm going to speak about really didn't know his self-worth till much later in life. Grew up as a middle child, which, as for any of you who are middle childs out there, you can attest that's not always the easiest thing, being wedged between the oldest and the youngest. And actually, until age 15, this boy was whipped by his father. Whipped. And each time he did, he told him, I'm going to whip the devil out of you. I'm going to whip the bad out of you. I'm going to make you into a good person. I don't know if I necessarily argue that's maybe the best way to teach our children, but this is what he had to grow up with. Early on, at a very young age, he met a neighbor boy, a white boy, and they became friends. The white boy's father owned a local business just down the street. But when they turned age 6 and had to go off to school, they were segregated. The boy that I'm speaking of was an African American, and he was forced to go to a different school than his close friend. And because of that, the father of the white boy decided that he didn't even want his boy hanging out with the individual we're speaking of. So at a young age, he saw the problem of segregation. Because of this, and understandably, he suffered through depression for most of his life. And even at age 12, when his grandmother died, he blamed himself and jumped out of a second-story building, possibly attempting to commit suicide. Thankfully, he survived. He attended Booker T. Washington High School and found an interest in public speaking. This was the first time in his life where he actually felt like maybe there was something that he enjoyed, there was something that he could bring to the table, something that he could help out other individuals with. And he actually was a standout on his school's debate team. Public speaking is one of the hardest things we can do, so that really says something. He then decided that he wanted to be a minister because he believed it would solve his quote-unquote inner urge to serve humanity, He felt that his ability to speak publicly, to be loquacious, could then equate to him being a good minister, to spreading, what he believed to be the good word. He went on to be elected student body president at Morehouse College. So just for a second, let's look back. This individual grew up very young, had to deal with segregation, dealt with depression, being whipped, had a very tough upbringing, and because of that, really had a tough time knowing his self-worth. And because of that, what are you able to bring to the table if you don't know your self-worth? Well, this individual in 1963 gave his I Have a Dream speech in front of the whole world, and this boy, who was Martin Luther King Jr., changed the world forever as we know it. Isn't that a crazy thing? We sometimes don't know our self-worth, but the moment that we do, the moment that we realize what we bring to the table, what we bring to this world, what we bring to the individuals closest around us, we're able to make a bigger impact than we ever thought possible. And imagine if you went back in time and told the child Martin Luther King Jr. what he would do one day. I bet he would not believe you at all. Neither would most of us. But it is in us understanding our self-worth, understanding who we are, that allows us to bring something to society. Because alone, we can do a lot of things we know our self-worth, but together we can do anything. Each one of us are so valuable toward the cause of improving the quality of life for everyone. But if we don't know our self-worth, if we don't look in the mirror each morning and say, you know what, you're a great person, you can accomplish anything that you want to put your mind to, and we can make a difference in this world. If you're not doing that, then maybe you're not fully realizing your self-worth. As I said, together, when we know our worth, our collective human capital, yes, our collective human capital will always overcome. Alone, we can do a lot, but together, we can overcome anything. It is so tough sometimes to understand our self-worth because we may grow up in an environment that's not healthy. We may grow up around other individuals that are not living healthy lifestyles. But it is on us to educate ourselves, to increase our knowledge base, and by doing so, we realize our self-worth. We realize that we truly have the ability to do anything in life. But the opposite, when we focus on the negative, when we focus on the bad in life, which there is a lot of, but when we do that, we become depressed. We are unable to bring as much to the table as we can, and we're not able to make the big impact that we wish we could. All of us want to be that individual who makes a huge impact, who makes the world a better place. You know what? Who is noticed for what they do. That's not why we should do it, but each one of us wants to feel appreciated. It's understandable. But the only way to truly feel appreciated, to truly give so much to other people, is to know our self-worth. It is the greatest resource we have, our human capital. Because if you think about it, think about each individual throughout time, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, so many individuals, Anne Frank, all these individuals who, by knowing their self-worth, and maybe not right away, but by slowly building up and knowing their self-worth, they were able to make a huge impact on the lives of others, an impact that they probably didn't even realize when they were alive. But look, we're still talking about them today. Don't you want to be one of those individuals? Don't you want to be someone who's remembered, not for the money that they made, not for the job that they had, but for the difference that they made in this world? And that starts with knowing your self-worth. Our greatest resource in this entire world is us, is our human capital. And when we put it together, that collective human capital can overcome anything. Oh yeah. Woo! We need to know our self-worth. We do. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. I had so much fun talking about human capital as the greatest resource that we have access to. Cannot wait to see you guys over here tomorrow. We'll be discussing you are a pinwheel product. What does that mean? That means that you need to find out what you do best and then increase your knowledge base and add spokes off of that. Because by knowing what you do best, it allows for us to do what we like to do most. All right, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's talk, or maybe you have an issue that you'd like me to highlight on my vlog or on one of my pages, I would love to hear about it. I'd love to hear more about you. Message me over at Clayton J. Jensen. Let's get to know each other better. Let's see how together we can combine our human capital and make this world a better place. All right, guys, can't wait to see you over here tomorrow. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And as always, you guys spread joy. You guys love always. You guys say peace. A peace. Peace.